If anyone has not subscribed to our channel yet, subscribe now. Click the bell icon next to it and put it in all. You can watch all the latest videos I post without missing them. You can see that Stonehenge is one of the most amazing ancient buildings in the world. No one knows exactly why it was built. Some say it was built to travel through time, some say it was built to travel to a parallel universe. But recent studies have shown that the reason for building it was to build a different future. Recent research has shown that this monument was an attempt by the British of the past to reunite all of them, to bring together, to the Neo-Norwegian people who lived in that area built it, and they had easy access to all these materials. So they built a ceremonial mount, or they built a sundial calendar, or they built a final resting place. We don't know what purpose they built it for. These theories are also being heard. So they could have built any of these. However, a recent discovery, a discovery made in 2018, made scientists think in a new way. There was a leading-edge research done on the altar stone. It was then known that this altar stone came from the River Tare region, which is in northeastern Scotland. It is about 400 miles away from Stonehenge. Scientists have also seen some rocks like this altar stone in Scottish monuments. So then they saw something to it. There is a similarity. This altar stone is a recumbent stone. It is also close to the rest of the stones in Stonehenge, but the same type of stones have been found in some ceremonial stone circles in Scotland, and they are all very unique. They are only found in that area, they are not found anywhere else. So then scientists had a suspicion that maybe there could be some link to it. So then all the archaeologists also thought that Stonehenge was not a local project, but a wider collaboration, that is, a building that different tribes and different communities wanted to build together. So to understand that, we have to go back to 3000 BC. We can't time travel. Let's just learn about that history. At that time, Britain was not a unified country. At that time, there were many tribes, so all those tribes lived together in one territory. But some people were separate from each other, some from the south side, some from the east side, some from the north side, and their customs were different, their beliefs were different. But basically, Britain is an island, so the population of Britain was changing all the time. In the past, there were some farmers in that area. They all came from the Middle East and settled in that area. They also grew crops in that area and lived happily. They came to that area about 6,000 years ago. For many years, everything was peaceful. But by 2500 BC, people from different areas started coming here. Some from the Netherlands, some from Germany started coming to this British area. And at that time, people called Beaker people also came in large numbers. And as time went by, their population started increasing. In the Neolithic period, in the years that followed, the population of these Beaker people began to grow very, very large. Why are they called Beakers? They would create a specific type of pattern and bury all their dead in it. That's how they got that name. But the problem here is that the original inhabitants of the land began to dwindle. They didn't like it. They didn't like their land being repopulated and populated by other people. So that's why they wanted to build Stonehenge. Why did they want to build it? To reunite everyone, to bring all the original Neolithic farmer population together. To give them an identity and to show their dominance over the area. So they spent a lot of time building it. They brought all the stones to that area from somewhere, even the altar stone from Scotland, without the help of wheel technology. Basically, the wheel was invented in that area many years later. Wheel technology was already invented in Lower Mesopotamia, but at that time they had no idea about this because there was no internet or Wi-Fi. It was only many years later that they learned about it. However, due to the territorial crisis they had at that time, all the local people used their resources and brought the altar stone to Salisbury Plain. Their main intention was not to build a building with stones in that area. The Stonehenge was not like it is now. When it was initially built, it was not a stone hinge, it was just a hinge, that is, 3000 BC. At the time, the monument was just a circular ditch and was called the hinge, and inside it there were only a few wooden posts and some tatami-like carvings. So initially it was a ritualistic place and an attempt to bring everyone together and make it a final resting place. But they didn't want to put the stones. In fact, some cremation pits were also found in the area. They belonged to that area and belonged to that period. So scientists also understood that this is the oldest resting place in Britain. So by 2600 BC, all the Bluestones were also brought to the area. blue stones are not blue in color. When you cut them into pieces, you can see a small blue-green tinge in the middle. So that's why they got their name. All these small rocks came from the Presley Hills, about 150 kilometers from southwest Wales. This Stonehenge is miles away, so researchers all thought that since these stones came from there, all the other stones must have come from that area. Because who would think that they are bringing stones from there now, so why would they bring them from somewhere else? They thought that they would bring them all from this area. After bringing some stones, they created a stone circle. So what we see now is Stonehenge. That's when it started. Then the Sarsen stones were also brought to the area. These Sarsen stones are very large. Each one weighs about 25 tons, which means that each stone is equal to the weight of 3 African elephants. These Sarsens brought all of them and created that iconic outer ring. So at the same time, the altar stone was also brought from Scotland. Among all the bluestones used in the construction, this altar stone is the largest and is located near the largest trilithon. Trilithons are horizontal stones that look like arches in that area, and they are called trilithons. This altar stone must have been near them. All these stones were brought from somewhere and placed in this area. For about a century, everyone believed that these Bluestones also came from the Presley Hills. But in 2018, some scientists did an advanced geochemical analysis of the altar stone. It was then known that it is actually sandstone and it came from the Presley Hills, not from Wales, and its results pointed out that there is a basin called the Arcadian Basin in the northern part, which is in northeastern Scotland. It is located in the middle of the 400-mile distance from Stonehenge. So after knowing this matter, the situations or thoughts that everyone had about Stonehenge until then have completely changed. What everyone thought until then was that it was only 150 miles away, so they thought that they had to suffer and bring it. But now it is 400 miles away, that is, from Scotland to Stonehenge, which is a long distance and the terrain in between is not that easy to go. And how did the stones get brought in such a situation? Everyone had doubts about it. And then some scholars said that at that time there was a technique called ice road. That is, in winter, everything would be covered with ice, so it would be easy to slide anything on it automatically. So also at that time, when natural ice paths were formed, these stones were dragged by horses. But then some people also dismissed this theory because in the past, there was not so much snow in that area, but now it does, but it was a little warmer. And some people said that it is okay if you think about 100 miles, but it is impossible to bring it 400 miles like that. They also said that the terrain in between would also be an obstacle. And some people said that they could have brought it by putting some logs in the river, that is, they put these stones on them so that they floated on the water. But many people also dismissed that because these stones are very, very heavy. I said that each of the Sarsen stones weighs 25 people, and if you look at it that way, how can it float on water with that much weight? So, did they build a ship like this and put it in it? So, no one is clear how they brought it. And some scientists conducted a laser survey on Stonehenge. What they understood was that some of the stones in Stonehenge were carved very carefully, while others were carved normally as they liked. But no one understood why they took so much care in some cases. Especially the inner faces of the central trilithons were carved very carefully. However, scientists have been saying that they have been very careful. Again, scientists do not understand the reason for showing partiality. One thing is that the reason for building it is not only to bring all the ancient people of the past together in one place, but also why it was built in a very unique way. No one understood why it was built in a way that tracks all the moments of the sun. So, they considered all the shortest days and longest days in a year and built this area. This area was built so perfectly that when the sun reaches a particular position in the evening, when that light falls on all the main stones and reflects in a very perfect way, especially when it falls on that altar stone, it creates a separate light and how it looks like it is a way to go to another dimension. So at other times, the light is aligned in a very perfect way. So, Stonehenge was built in this area in a very, very extraordinary way. So, whoever built Stonehenge predicted and calculated astronomy in a very, very extraordinary way and built it accurately. That is the main point here. Some people believe that this area has ancestral and spiritual significance. That is why they say that it was built like this. That is why when the sun falls on the altar stone, it looks like a bridge between two different worlds. That is, a present for our ancestors. They say that it was built in a way that connects us to the earth, the cosmos, the present, the future, and both of these. And even though we don't have calendars, clocks, weather apps, they still say that it was built in a way that allows us to know about the weather. But to be able to decode the weather, they have to know the weather in a complete way. That's the main point. It was built in a way that calculates all of these agricultural cycles, spiritual rituals, and so on in a very perfect way. The mystery of why it was built like that has not been solved yet. But it was definitely built with a lot of effort. Why it was built. It would be nice if it was written somewhere. But it wasn't written like that. There's nothing else we can do. So that's it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to be notified of future uploads. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.